Hey guys, this video I am going to do an overview and a review of using the Northern Knifeworks Stinger and Rex121. I guess for the lack of a better comparison, edge retention may be close to Maximate S125V. Not as stainless, it's definitely a tool steel, a lot of carbides. Using it, I felt it was less difficult. I ran into some issues with some Maximate sharpening, not a bunch. A lot of them you sharpen it well, but the deburring process, and sometimes when you're doing low grit with Maximate, caused some issues. And I've chipped a little bit. It felt a little delicate using Maximate. Rex121, it definitely has a lot of wear resistance. Sharpening, you could tell, especially when you're using a stone sharpening, and you can feel it really skate off the steel a lot more. Same thing with Maximate, but I didn't feel like I was ever gonna, it didn't feel delicate. So I sharpened this up when I first got it to 20 degrees per side. Strapped it on like 1 and 0.5 micron diamond emulsion on leather, and it was good to go. I didn't have any weird deburring process. It seemed to do it pretty cleanly. It didn't feel difficult at all. Obviously, if I was hogging off more steel and reprofiling it lower, it could be a different story. But no issues with that. I used it at work, cutting a lot of cardboard, breaking it down. I purposely did more than I generally do on a daily basis to really test this guy. So about 4 or 5 days, I filled up a huge trash can full of just cardboard with anything I could pick up. I'd cut it. I stuck this under pallet strap and popped it with that. And it's not saying there isn't any wear on it, but the way a tool steel wears, if you guys are familiar, it seems to get toothier before it gets duller. I feel like with a lot of stainless steels and regular steels, as you wear it down, it breaks down that edge where it flattens it out more. Whereas with a tool steel, you got all those carbides microscopically poking out that are acting as the teeth. It seems to break away the softer stuff, and it exposes more carbides as you go, so it actually gives it a more toothy feel the more you wear down the steel. But other than the first night when I stropped this guy, I just decided not to do any maintenance whatsoever other than wiping it off. I didn't clean it off with any solution. I just took a paper towel just earlier and wiped it off more. And you guys can see it's pretty dirty. It's probably just tape residue and dirt and grime. But I don't notice any, I guess I have to clean it off to see if there's any kind of patina or corrosion, but it's not really a fear for me. So I didn't oil it, I didn't maintain it other than that. But the size of it, it makes it for a really maneuverable and easily pocketable EDC. And I did not notice many, if at all, any hot spots in the hand. And if you're not familiar with what that means, is when you're gripping a handle, it's just the area in your hand where the knife might be interacting with that's just irritating for you. For example, got this pie right here. The back right here puts a lot of pressure, and just the way it's shaped, I feel like if you press down more, it's gonna wear your hand out a little bit more. Or sometimes the area where the clip interfaces with your hand, that could cause some issues. My PM2s with stock G10 grips, generally with the way they're contoured, it bothers the back of my hand. There's some knives where the clips mostly do it. Some of them could be the front. But even though this thing is skinny, the way he radiused it, the way that the tang and the scale and the pins are all just ground together and smoothened out, I didn't feel any fatigue. The only area that I may have felt it, but it didn't really cross my mind, is the area right here in the choil. I don't know if he's updated that in his recent or his newer models, but it's not as radius. So when I have my index finger up there, I can kind of feel it. But it also could be for me shooting and dry firing with my handgun, because the trigger guard kind of rubs that. But other than that, the jimping up here, nice and big. It doesn't irritate me. It gives you a good index point. You got a long handle. It's skinny, but it's maneuverable. I mean, I don't feel like this isn't going to leave your grip, even if you're pressing hard. You've got a lot of leverage against this because it's such a large handle with a small blade. Now, if you're doing cutting, I mean, you guys are going to determine what kind of cutting you're going to need and how big of a blade you need. But for everyday tasks, just breaking down things, this thing is awesome. He made an amazing Kydex sheath, and it's just minimal. It's small enough to cover it up and keep it safe. Taco style. It clips on and off super easy with one hand, so you can pull it out your pocket, pop that guy off, cut, and when you're done, clips on easily. Didn't feel at all in my pocket. I mean, there's some weight obviously, but this isn't like a huge one. I mean, you guys can also use different clips or a paracord to tie to the one of the eyelets here if you need to, but it's super versatile. I feel like if you want a fixed blade EDC, and you kind of want to go find something that's developed for you, going to a small maker, a custom maker is so awesome, because a lot of times, like Levi has a bunch of stuff he's making in some steels you're not going to normally find from retail manufacturers. He has them in Maximate, 10V, Rex121. And this was an amazing one to use. I'm excited to get this sharpened back up and send that back out to him to see what he thinks of my edge. But I had a great time using this guy. I don't need a huge one. I'm not bushcrafting. I'm not breaking down trees. I'm not betoning wood. I just need to cut stuff, especially at work. Most of it's cardboard if I'm breaking it down for processing, or pallet straps, pallet wrap, and this one is just super easy to maintain. He's got some other models too, chef's blades, bigger fixed blades, but if you're looking for a nice daily EDCable small fixed blade, these little Stinger models are great. And I'm sure you guys can definitely see other models he has over there. This at Northern Knifeworks at on Instagram. There's some other steels he has coming out that, or has made, that'd be drooling to try. But I do appreciate him sending this out for me to just try, get my thoughts on it. Like I said, it's not the biggest knife in the world, but if you don't need that thing, this thing has great geometry. He's got a nice flat grind right there. Everything radiused and indexed really well, other than like the the finger choil, which, like I said, that's just a simple fix, because you guys can just, you know, chamfer that off a bit and boom, you're good to go. But that's, if I were to nitpick, that might be the only issue I had with it, other than being a smaller blade. But obviously, you're going to buy a blade that you know you're going to want to use. So as far as after 4 or 5 days, no strop, no cleaning, it's still cutting real well. With regular stuff, if I were to put it through that much work after a day, I would feel a lot of dulling or just smoothing out. This one, I rub it right here. I do feel a little bit of a catch at the belly, because that was where I was doing a lot more of the harder stuff. But that's just probably where the softer stuff broke around the vanadium, or the carbides and the vanadium carbides, and it's just not cutting anymore. But I mean, it's doing pretty good. So check them out, guys. Let me know if you got any questions. This is really an off-the-cuff video for me, so if I didn't go over something you may want to know, definitely comment below or send me a message, and you know, I'll definitely give you my honest opinion. Levi, thank you. You guys check out Northern Knifeworks. Appreciate y'all's time.